15-point lead.
I think in the first half we did a really good job controlling the tempo, but I thought we got off to, once they started coming back and the crowd started getting into it, I thought we got a little wired up, and I thought we just needed to maintain our composure. But overall, I just think we didn't come out the second half ready to go.
You talk about the challenge about not playing with Williams, how tough that was.
Yeah, that was tough, but I think we definitely had the game in our hands and we just threw it away at the end. So we can't use that as an excuse at all.
Coach, what happened once you got the 15-point lead? What went wrong down the stretch?
Excuse me?
What happened once you got the 15-point lead? What happened? What didn't I do down the stretch?
Obviously, they did a good job. They hit some shots. You know, they did some nice things. They hit some threes. We didn't make stops.
Could you update us on Williams, Coach, what her status was?
No.
Coach, you were shooting better than 50% in the first half. What did they change on defense and offense shooting percentage down?
I think they did a nice job playing a little bit more aggressive defensively. I think the game was extremely physical. Extremely physical. So I think it was a lot more was let go in the second half.
Coach, if you can, let's talk about the last 4 minutes of the second half. You know, back and forth, not so much the turnovers, but being able to get what you needed to get to keep the gap, close the gap, and keep the game close.
I think the team has did a good job with executing and being patient on offense a little bit, trying to find things. You know, kind of have to be a little crafty against their defense. And if I recall, I thought we got some good stops down the stretch, which matched some of the things that we were doing offensively. That was what we needed in the second half that we didn't get.
Coach, with your size inside, do you feel that allowing physical play favored you in the first half and favored A&M in the second half, possibly?
I don't know. I guess I'd have to watch the film more. I think that when your guards, you know, when there's a lot of hand checking and touching of the guards and physical play on the perimeter, that's obviously going to prevent things from being smooth. But I would just have to probably look at it and see.
Was that part of the issue, you know, not being able to get some chemistry, some flow on the offensive end with all of that going on, you know, what you just mentioned about the hand checking?
Yeah, I know. I think it's kind of a facade, the whole hand checking thing, really, because we just came from a game where if you blew on somebody, it was a foul. And we just played a game where people got run over, and it wasn't a foul. So I think the whole thing doesn't make any sense at all, and I don't think it's being called consistently, and I think it's a joke, really.
Physicality, they also did a better job in transition, or you did a better job in the transition defense in the first half versus the second half. Do you feel that was because of the physicality?
That was a factor of our shot selection. We had very poor shot selection in the second half, which we didn't have in the first half, which unfortunately helped ignite them, and they're a fast transition team, and they converted and did a nice job.
Coach, to follow up on that issue of the physicality and the fouls, both teams had several players in foul trouble by late in the game. And last season, the NCAA told us, well, that's just us getting used to the new enforcement of the rules, et cetera, and it'll turn out in the end. Do you think it's the same thing this year? And also, supposedly the whole purpose of these hand check rules, or at least enforcement of the rules, was supposed to be to increase the shooting percentage, and certainly by game's end, it couldn't be accomplished.
Yeah, you know, again, I don't know. There was that thought they were going to try to take care of the interior, you know, a little bit more this year, like they got things set up on the exterior. The reality is there's no consistency anywhere whatsoever. I mean, if you had seen our game against Stony Brook, and that was a foul. I mean, I had everybody on the bench in foul trouble. It was in our own gym. It was in our gym. And I mean, it's night and day. I mean, I can't even begin to describe to you the difference between that experience and this experience. Now the players, you know, you coach the players up to be tough and expect stuff, you know, they know. But there were just some incredible things happening out there today. Physically.
And what do you think the players will take from this experience? And I have to say credit to both coaches at this time of year for scheduling a real game instead of
yeah, it was definitely a real game. I don't know. I mean, our team is hungry. Our team is hungry. We're not very happy about that game. one's a stinger because of the opportunities that we had. I mean, I do think you saw the missed layups, and you break a press with a beautiful execution, and we miss a layup on the other. I mean, there's just no room for that, and we don't deserve that. I mean, like we deserve better, and I think this team understands that, and I think so. We're hungry and not very happy, and we certainly credit A&M, of course, for what they did, but we'll grow from this.
Rebecca, you had an exceptional game. Was there any single player on the Aggie team that gave you more fits than others?
I thought Walker did a good job in the second half. We tried to leave some space on the perimeter, and once we did that in the second half, she just came out firing and made a few threes. So I think she played a really good game.
Can you talk about the physicality, how it affected you as a player? Coach talked about how physical the game was. Did that talk about the physicality of it?
Yeah, it was definitely very physical. Whenever I tried to go to the basket, I just tried to be strong with the ball and try to get the foul called.
Coach, in your experience, do they seem to allow more physical play when you play SEC opponents, or is this complete different?
I think that the problem they have is that when you see very good opponents, maybe, I don't know, very good opponents going out, I think the officials, get this whole, they make up their minds that, they want to let everybody play. And so all that concept goes out the door, and that's what it feels like to me. It's not, I wouldn't say it's a conference thing. I think it's anytime you have two pretty good teams going at it, there's always seems to be everything becomes, more permissive across the board. And that's just part of how we have to, like I said, we have to deal with that. That's what, but I am laughing from my experience of going from game to game.
All right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.